Hi, my name's Grace, and today I'll be briefly showing you how to repair your own clothing by hand. First, try on your piece of clothing. Use a pen or washable marker to mark on the front and back where you'd like your new hem to be. Take it off and measure the distance from the current hem to that mark. Mine here is 3.5 inches. Make marks around the entire hem, about 1/4 inch short of the amount you'd like to hem it by. Since I want to take off 3.5 inches, I'm making marks 3¼ inches up from the bottom. Connect those marks to create a line for you to follow as you stitch. I like to use a washable marker to make a dark, semi-permanent line. Don't worry if the line is a little wobbly. It's only a guide, and it won't affect how your hem looks in the end. At this point, turn it inside out so that your fold is where you'd like your new hem to be. Pin the fabric together along that guideline. Measure as you go to make sure you're pinning it by the correct, even amount. Here, I'm measuring 3½ inches every time I pin. If you're nervous about the length, feel free to carefully try on the piece of clothing again and move the pins as you see fit. First, you'll need to cut a piece of matching thread shorter than the length of your arm. I'll be using a contrasting thread, just so you can see what I'm doing later. To thread the needle, try wetting the end of the thread that you just cut and carefully sticking that through. You can also use a needle threader, like this one here, to make the task simpler. To use it, thread the middle wire through the needle. Then insert the thread through the end of the wire loop. When you pull off the needle, it should be threaded. To begin stitching, pick anywhere along your guideline and make a few stitches in one place. This will act as a knot. As you begin, point the needle towards yourself. This will make sure that you're going in the correct direction when you begin to stitch. If your index finger ever begins to hurt from pushing the needle through the fabric, I suggest trying out a thimble. I have a leather one I often use, and it definitely helps. Any type will work though, it just needs to fit your finger well. From here, we begin the back stitch. Insert your needle through the fabric, above where your last stitch is. Come back up through the fabric, just behind where your last stitch ended. I find it helpful to flip the piece over as I stitch, to make sure everything looks neat on the front. Again, insert above the last stitch, come up behind the last stitch. The length of these stitches really doesn't matter. Larger stitches will go faster, but smaller stitches are more sturdy. Also, if you're working with stretchy fabric, make sure to stretch it between stitches to make sure it will still fit when you finish. When you only have a few inches of thread, finish it off in the same way you started, with a few stitches in one place. Repeat this process around the entire hem. Feel free to leave the excess fabric on. It'll actually help to improve the longevity of your clothing, since that edge will be finished. Of course, cutting it off is also completely fine. Here's what the stitch should look like from the back and the front of your clothing. And that's it! I hope my little explanations helped. If you have any questions or would like to see this in real time, I'm hosting a virtual workshop over Zoom this Thursday, January 14th at 7 p.m., covering hemming in more detail. The link to sign up should be in the description below. We're also able to provide kits for anyone who needs additional materials to join us. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out my other videos on adding pockets and repairing holes.